Deja review. Here we are 24 hours later, and I've got a bit of bad news, I'm afraid. I had actually shot a Deja review video literally within minutes of having finished the first video, because I plugged it in, I got the adapter, I had it all charged up quite nicely, and so I thought, and it appeared to actually be working off the mains. It was actually taking power from the mains and allowing me to actually do some shaving, which I demonstrated by shaving both of my hands and part of my arm, just to show, you know, how well it works. And it has done a fair good job, as you may be able to see there. Now, if I can figure out how to do so on my editing software, I will be putting a video up there, you know, in that top right hand corner there. I might splice it in and just have this voiceover for this video on top of the footage from the other video, just to show that I did all of that. But that was literally within a few minutes of having done so, and at that I was quite happy with what the results were, what I got at that point. Quite happy. I was showering it with praise and accommodations and whatnot, but unfortunately I then put it to one side, still charging, and then put all of my camera equipment away, and then came back to finish the job with this, and got this result. So you can hear the button clicking, you can see the light lighting up, but there is absolutely no reaction whatsoever. I've tried everything I can think of. I've taken that out, I've pressed it again, I've taken that off and put it back in. I've done the pushy thing here to help eject properly again, but nothing seems to actually work at all. It seems, for all intents and purposes, to be broken. Unfortunately, instructions and whatnot that come with it don't give any kind of diagnostic help of any sort, so it's buggered. Yeah, it was charging, it was doing all so nicely, and we're not talking overcharging here, okay, because literally it had no charge to begin with, and I quite literally, after the first video was shot and wrapped and everything, and I plugged it in and gave it a little test, it was working. It was working straight off the bat. And then after I shot the initial Deja review video, it had stopped working, and there's no rhyme or reason as to why that is the case. So, every positive thing I said about this, I'm afraid I have to retract automatically, because it's, unfortunately, while yes, it's a solid feeling piece of plastic that should in theory protect everything quite nicely, whatever's inside must either be loose in some regard or just shoddily built in some regard. I don't really know, but I obviously can't recommend this. It's a complete worthless thing. I'm just glad I didn't throw the packaging out. Okay, always keep a hold of the packaging after you first bought something, because I'll be trying to take this back to the shop tomorrow to get a refund, because this was about 60 quid if I remember rightly. In fact, I think I've got the bag with the receipt nearby. Yes, I do indeed. It's just off camera here. No, it was actually £70. Yeah. And that's not including a couple of other items that I had bought as well. In fact, let's just see what I'll do. It's obviously nothing to do with the actual shop itself. It's not their fault that the product didn't work. But if the autofocus will work in, you'll be able to see what I had bought myself: a bag for life, a couple of pieces of stuff for my skin, because I'm trying to clear my pores out at this point in time. Yes, that does sound a bit disgusting. You probably don't really want to know about it, but hell, it's life. It's one of the things that happens. And there's the price for this thing, the Phillips razor thingamajigin, 70 quid. I thought it was 60 for some reason. There were actually two different models. There was a smaller version altogether, which I think costs about 50 quid. Apparently that could only go for about 35 minutes without stopping. And this, on the other hand, gives you 60 minutes, allegedly. I got maybe 5-10 minutes running out of it while it was actually plugged in. Pathetic. Pathetic, and it means I get to test my editing facilities a bit more. I'm still learning about this software, the DaVinci stuff. I mean, I'm quite impressed with that. But absolutely disappointed with this, because when it worked very well. That's quite a nice shave. The blade itself, the general purpose of it works perfectly. It's just the rest of the unit is a disappointment, and I can't really afford to just waste £60-70 on this when it doesn't really work. I don't just buy things for the sake of reviewing them. If they're good, I make use of them. And if they're not good, I take them back. I have actually done that before with a couple of things, because I do these videos literally on the day that I purchased something, or the next day, depending on what the circumstances are. That's why they're first impressions. And my first impression here was completely horrible, which is why I do Deja reviews. Well, can I recommend it? Certainly not. Phillips, sort yourselves out, please.